I feel like in those days of like true downward spiralness, it's like you need that like little light force to kind of like pull you out of the hole you dug yourself into, which is why I feel like celebrating the wins is such an important part of creating like an intention in your week.
Hey there, this is Unburdened by Hope, the podcast that helps you harness your possibility and fuel your purpose. I'm your host, Erin Cummings. Here, we're breaking free from the chains of hope and unlocking the power of inspiration within. Get ready to ignite your soul because we're diving deep into the art of letting go, embracing the unknown, and creating a life unburdened by the limitations of hope. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to finding purpose, fueling our passions, and crafting a vibrant existence that sets our hearts on fire. So, are you ready to burn it down what's no longer serving you and step into a life driven by possibility? Let's dive in, my friends, and unleash our boundless potential.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7. Thanks for listening. This week, we are celebrating the wins. I'm a big celebrator. I love to celebrate. And I think a great intention for this week is to celebrate the wins. So most likely you are getting a kid ready for school, maybe, or about to start school or already starting school. And this is like I like to think of this week as like a preschool survival something week where it's just absolute batshit chaos of like getting school supplies. I had to order uniforms this year for one. Like it is like sports have already started. It's absolute chaos. And so I think celebrating the wins is such an important part of just like how to stay motivated throughout the week. So that's what we're going to dive into this week. So I want to start from kind of the beginning, and a big thing I'm actually celebrating myself. So surprise, I actually spent the past 10 months working on getting my nutrition certification, which isn't something I ever expected to do in my entire life. But I've been having some health issues. And I've always had something go on. I feel like there's always been something in my life where it was like health wise, there was something. And it's kind of a running joke. And everyone, it's like, oh, Erin's allergic to everything. And yeah, it's all fun and games until you're the person who's actually allergic to everything. But I've been having some significant health issues, and I thought I had an autoimmune disorder. And I had just kind of, like Dr. Googled and self-diagnosed it for a long time. And I had seen some other nutritionists myself and been to a functional med doctor, and it had all had kind of like leveled out. And then I started getting all these things started happening again. And so I actually injured my shoulder a while back, and it just I don't know, it just wasn't getting any better. And I was going to PT and I was doing all the things and strengthening it and doing low impact and, da 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 da. And I had gone to see a new PT, and he was like, hey, I think you have this disease. And I was like, okay. His name was Jaime. Okay, Jaime, like, you don't know me. Just calm down. Like, you can't just rare disease me right now. And so I was like, cool story, bro. Just fix my shoulder and stay in your lane. And so then I'm like talking to my therapist because I talked to her about everything. And she's like, actually, I can send you to so-and-so, and she specializes in this. And so I go to this other doctor, and sure as shit, she said the same thing. And I was like, okay, other doctor. Like, this is where I just like throw in the towel. And it's like the moment you tell me what to do or that I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. And that's when like hardcore stubborn Erin shows up, and it's not great for anyone involved. So then I was like, oh, second person says this. I should probably have this actually checked out. So I've talked about it on the podcast before. I went and saw a new primary care doctor, functional med, and sure as shit, she said the same damn thing. So I realized all of this to like kind of start this story over. I'd been having these like health problems, didn't know what the hell was going on. I already am pretty limited on like my not food intake, but just like I have a lot of food allergies and there's a lot of foods that like really bother me. And I didn't want to cut more shit out of my diet. Like I don't want to only eat bag salad for the rest of my life. Like I want to eat food. And so I decided to just like say, fuck it, fuck hope. Like, I am going to learn about nutrition and digestion and like how it really supports your body. I'm going to learn about my immune system. I'm going to learn about my blood sugar. Like, I want to get to the bottom of this and see like what the fuck is actually wrong with me. And so I took matters into my own hands. And for the past 10 months, I've been studying, taking exams. I passed everything and I'm officially like a certified nutritionist. And I didn't really do it for other people. Like I really did it for myself. And in the process, I had to take on like 2 case study clients where I had to like, my area of expertise for nutrition is not actually diagnosing people, but just helping them with functional based food, like real whole foods and vitamins and minerals and blood sugar regulation and all that kind of super awesome hydration, all that kind of super awesome fun stuff. And so I like took on 2 case study clients and did all of that. And I'm officially, as of last week, graduated, done with the program. That is truly what inspired me to like keep my education going to then get into my master's program. So I started the nutrition program last September, officially graduated as a nutritional therapy practitioner is my like official title. So that being said, I like you should not go out and do what I did and get some sort of degree to like prove yourself. But I was excited to have learned all of this like super valuable information and then take that knowledge back to another true doctor practitioner and say like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm feeling, this is where I'm seeing like a situation arise, like what can we do to work together? And then to fast forward back to those 2 people who said I had this one thing, and then actually talking to my doctor, we have all now realized, I think in the past, I have given like 20 vials of blood. Like I just constantly go in for a test and another test and another test. And one thing has led to something else. And so I thought I had, originally when this started, I thought I had an autoimmune disorder, which is now actually not the case. And it's like a degenerative connective tissue disorder, which is super fun. And then I have this like other crazy, super rare thing that has to do with like your histamine response. And that's been the big thing that we're trying to discover and work on now because there's not a lot of information about it. But I finally I have this moment of like, oh my God, finally we have figured out what is going on. And so I was just excited to have finally like get everything down together and then get my certificate. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm always about celebrating the wins. Like, we should just do that this week. Okay, real quick, I am interrupting myself just like someone with ADHD would. But I want to tell you, we are doing a giveaway for the podcast. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to subscribe to the podcast, subscribe, follow, whatever you call it. Please leave a review. If you could then screenshot the review and email it to me at info@erincummings.com. Almost forgot my name, as obviously I would. We will announce the winner each week on the podcast for the next few weeks. So we'll have a weekly winner, and I will send you an autographed copy of The Possibility Project and a special swag surprise, unreleased swag, podcast swag. You will get first exclusive grabs of that. So once again, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review. Please send me a screenshot and we will pick a winner each week for the next couple of weeks, and you can win some swag. All right, back to the show. So I want to give a really big shout out really quick to someone who's like super important and special. And that is my sister-in-law, Amy, who's also like in charge of my PR. She, when we started this little like journey together, she would get so mad at me because as much as I like post on social media, like there is a lot of stuff that like happens that I don't share about. Like I do keep it like pretty close to my heart and close to home. That I'm not like woo woo. So like I don't know. Some of it's like I feel like it can be too much. Like everyone is like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. And sometimes I feel like that can get a little overwhelming. And so some of the stuff I do just like, kind of keep close to home. But Amy, since working with her, has made sure that I celebrate my big wins all the time. And we before each kind of like big event that we've done, or if we like go to dinner, she always does this like really awesome thing where she plays like a theme song for the day. And it's been really fun to like, I don't know, have someone celebrate with me. So I just wanted to give Amy a shout out and just say like thanks so much for I don't know, pushing me to continue to celebrate the wins. Normally what I do in celebrating the wins is just like celebrating something good that actually happened. It's not even like a big thing like getting your nutritional certification, but maybe it's just like, oh, I finally did that thing off of my to-do list. I finally, put the dishes up. I finally did my laundry. I finally cleaned my closet. Like I feel like if you're I have these days where it's just very downward spiral. And then I like get my period the next day and I'm like, oh, it's not the world. It's just, me and my hormones. But like, I feel like in those days of like true downward spiralness, it's like you need that like little light force to kind of like pull you out of the hole you dug yourself into, which is why I feel like celebrating the wins is such an important part of creating like an intention in your week. So I want to share this story. Another fun Erin story here. So my husband and I had gone out of town we were heading out of town to go on like a quick little like weekend getaway, whatever. And we had to get like a dog sitter. And one of the dog sitters had fallen through, and I was kind of like last minute scrambling. And my super awesome dad was just like, I'll watch the dog, no big deal. Just bring her over. I got her a little crate. Like he's very like granddad dog situation, whatever it's called. And so I like take her over there. She's so excited. Oh my God. She's so excited. So she's running around my dad's house, like super jacked to just like destroy his whole house and tear everything up with her teeth. And we get outside and she's just like running around in the other in his backyard, a place she's never been. Like, oh, how exciting. And I look over and she's like, she does this like noise. I don't know if it's like a corgi noise because our other dog did it too, or if it's just like an all dog noise, and I just don't know. But she does this like kind of exactly like that kind of thing, and she'll like roll on her back and kind of do that, and she like thinks it's so fun. And I look over and she's like having the time of her life, just like, and I'm just like, oh, so happy that she's like so happy being like at my dad's house. And I walk over to her to like pick her up to go back inside because it was time for me to go. And I looked down and there was a literal piece of shit, like poop, that she was rolling around on. And I just like, my dad has no other pets and it's like in his backyard. And I like look at my dad and I was like, what the fuck? There's a turd like in your yard and my dog is rolling around in it. Like what the fuck, dude? And he was like, I don't know. He had no idea. And I'm like, well, was there a dog? Of course, I'm like asking him 9,000 questions. Like, was there a dog here? Have you seen anyone? Did someone break in? Like, why would someone break into your backyard and let their dog poop in your yard? Like, what's happening? And he's like, well, it's probably a cat. There's a bunch of cats in the area, whatever. And of course, instead of just like picking up the dog and giving her a bath, I'm like, asking private investigative questions about like what potential tabby cat is like in his backyard. And so finally I like grab the dog, get her all cleaned up. I have to like take her inside, give her a sink bath. It's like all over her collar, all over her. Like we had literally been at my dad's house for like probably 35 minutes. And he's like big into gardening. And so like we were, looking at all of his garden stuff while she was rolling around in literal shit. And I got her all cleaned up and my dad picked up the poop and it was done. And I drove home and we got on a plane. And we celebrated just like having someone watch her and like her being at some other place and it just being like, well, you know what? Let's celebrate the wins. Like the worst of what could have happened just happened. And at least I was there to like help my dad clean it all up and he wasn't like by himself. And then we got to just celebrate being on vacation. But I thought it was like the funniest thing that like we finally get this dog like to somewhere and here she is like rolling around in actual shit. And instead of just like having a meltdown about it, it's like, okay, like what can I really celebrate in this like very chaotic but not so serious scenario? Like, okay, let's celebrate that like the worst was, thank God I was here. Thank God, we like clean this up together and he wasn't stuck doing it all by himself. So this week, celebrate the shit and celebrate the wins. Even if you have to roll around for a while. I think it truly is so important. If you're like me and you love like you thrive on a little bit of pessimistic energy. Sometimes it's really great to be the victim and it's really nice to complain and it's nice to like, blame other people for your problems, but that only helps you so much. And then at some point when you can like take the accountability and then, like see the other side of it and kind of, like people say, like find the silver lining. But here, I think it's really like, see this week, if at least one day you can celebrate something and see how that impacts you. In yoga, that's like what would be a gratitude practice. And sometimes I feel like we all throw that word around kind of like willy-nilly and a little too jargony. And it's kind of, for me, it's diminished the meaning, so to speak, a little bit. And so to kind of like rephrase it as like celebrating the wins of your week, I think it kind of helps bring a little bit more impact to the actual celebration of the wins. And you don't have to do something big. Like you could go to dinner, you could like, just like make time for yourself or even just acknowledge the celebration, I think is just as important as celebrating it, like actually calling attention to it, because I personally can be kind of bad about it, especially like acknowledging myself. Like as much as I feel the success and failures, it's like, okay, having that pause in that moment to be like, wow, like I actually did this. We're going to celebrate it for a change. Like, why are we at dinner? Well, I did this real estate sale and it was, the biggest I've ever done, or, whatever it may be. And I think it's just so important to, especially for women, to like have that moment of like celebrating something that you were like worked on, valued, accomplished, and did yourself. And so I think this week, go out and celebrate you and the wins and all that you are and all that you're capable of. So let me know how it goes. Tell me what you're celebrating. I'd love to celebrate with you. I'm celebrating, so getting my nutritional certification, I'm celebrating that. And then something awesome I did today was I got one of my emails to an inbox of 0, and that is a BFD, big fucking deal. And BFD this week, getting an inbox to 0. So top that, MFers. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, shoot me a message on Instagram or send me an email. I'd love to give you a shout out on Instagram for celebrating your wins too. So love to hear from you. Let me know how your week goes, and I will chat with you next week. Keep at it. Stay courageous, capable, and strong.
Thanks for listening to Unburdened by Hope. Go to your favorite podcast app, hit that subscribe button, and leave us a review. If you got something out of our show, I'd love to hear from you. Send me your favorite takeaway or any questions you may have to info@erincummings.com. You might even just hear the answer in a future episode. Remember, you are capable, you are courageous, and it's up to you to create what's possible.